As of May 20th, I've officially quit Fire Emblem Heroes, otherwise known as Fae, due to reasons I will explain in this video. It was something that I've decided I had to do due to the treatment and current state the game is in. Enjoy. Chapter 1. The Beginning. On October 19th, 2017, a unit known by the name of Ira was released to the game. She was what is, in my opinion, the first unit to really display Powercreep. However, she was beatable by units like Reinhardt, who have always been incredibly powerful. But she was by far one of the strongest units in the game, even a few months after launch. Later that year, Winter's Envy would be released. It was by far one of the best banners yet released into the game, and started the trend of Powercreep units being armors, which is still going to this very day. It also added brazen skills, and as well as skills exclusively to help armor units, which basically made armors the best units in the game, if they weren't already. Due to their high stats, incredible base kits for the time, they became extremely popular units. Considering this is a game when at launch, the two units with counter skills were literally the best units in the game for months. And there really were ways to beat them. Armor effective skills existed, and there were easy ways to get around them. So they weren't too much of a problem, but they were a step in the wrong direction, in my opinion. Chapter 2. The Armors Rise Up. In the first half of 2018, units such as Micaiah and Bonoka rose up to the occasion to deal with the current looming armor threat. So, they help solve such a devastating problem currently in the game. And they were still good for a long time, especially after some of them got refines. But here's where things get worse. Later that year, the first ever Fallen banner released, bringing with it Powercreep, everyone's favorite. However, they were once again relatively dealable foes, as the majority of them were armor units. Soon after it, however, the first legendary or mythic unit I would truly consider to have had an impact on the competitive scene released. Legendary Tiki. She was the first of soon-to-be-many 180 BST dragons. For simplicity's sake, and me not repeating the exact same sentences over and over again, I'm not going to mention a lot of the 180 BST units, except for the ones that had a massive impact on the scene. As Myrrh and Faye, really, they were just a legendary Tiki for a different element. Or color, in this case. Nothing too special. But Tiki was incredibly powerful, and was powerful until another 180 BST dragon came around to beat her in that role. Which we'll get into later, as that's a powerful unit that definitely defined the meta at the time. Soon after, Legendary Lucina took over the meta, for similar reasons as Tiki. Due to her Future Sight ability, allowing her to get a swap in for free. She was only usurped by her own father, ironically enough, a few years later. In the same vein, Legendary Azura, like all support units with a special skill, dominated. Once again, not going to be mentioning support units with a special skill, as just like Peony, Plumaria, Triandra, really just the same situation we had with Armored Dragons. They are all good units because they are support units. with something that makes them stand out. Like how most healers aren't special, but ones that can do something like Flame are special. Flame we'll get into in a bit. And then Book 2 ended, leading with it a bombshell of a unit. One I frankly never expected to become as powerful as they are, and the first 180 BST unit we're mentioning besides Tiki. Surtr. He was on a rare phenomena that only occurred during this time in the game, a two-person banner. And at that, this rare phenomena only occurred once for a new Heroes banner, which also happened to be the one Surtr was on. Yet you see where this goes wrong, right? 180 BST green unit with exclusive skills on a two-person banner. Yeah, everyone and their mom had a plus 10 Surtr. You still see them floating around today because back then people pulled for him and they're like, well, I have plus 10 Surtr, why not use him? Even though he wasn't that good of a character. Let's all be honest. We only pulled for him because he was a good unit in the meta. Which, genuinely, Surtr is a broken unit. Which sadly led to the other unit on that two-person banner, Yolger, to fall under the dust. You don't really think, hey, that banner that Surtr was on. Whoever the other units were, that doesn't matter. You don't think, hey, remember Yolger? She shared with Surtr on their debut banner. Who's Yolger? It's the thing. It's just what happens. And it's kinda sad. Not gonna lie. And these units wrapping up the year really bled into 2019. As a YouTuber, I'm obligated to ask you to subscribe, as only a small percentage of you guys are, and this video has taken a lot of work to make. Either way, not going to interrupt for much longer. Enjoy the video. January 2019 introduced Beast units. Not many of which were memorable, but Tabarn did actually have a substantial role in Aether raids as a defensive unit. So, thought that was worth mentioning. Hey, remember earlier how I mentioned one unit specifically power-crept Legendary Tiki? Yeah, that was a certain someone called Tiki. Fallen Tiki, and this year's Fallen banner once again brought with it mass destruction to Fire Emblem's meta. As specifically, Corrin and Tiki were incredibly powerful units with high base stat totals, incredible skills, and also happen to be colorless units. Not to mention the other two units on the banner were also phenomenal, Berkut and Merida. So it was only obvious that these units dominated the meta, like they do every single year. Like, seriously, if you're still playing this game, save up for next year's Fallen banner. Don't even bother. Just use all your orbs on that, plus 10 that unit, save up for the next year. It's happened every single year this game has been out. So just trust me on this one. And of course, the last unit for the first half of 2019, Legendary Olm. Really, any unit with true damage. But Legendary Olm being a ranged unit with true damage and an incredibly high attack and speed stat, as well as abilities that relied on that or boosted it, he was bound to be an incredible unit. And he was, for a good while. And frankly, I think Olm's Conqueror outfit is the best outfit he has, especially in Heroes, but that's beyond the point. Just like a few other select legendaries before him, he was one of the best ones yet. Note, most legendary units at this point were good, it's just only a few of them were meta-defining. Just thought I'd mention that, throw that in here. You also may have noticed that I've been ignoring refines. That is because I didn't feel like researching them. But a handful of refines that I do remember defining the meta will be mentioned. Specifically, Choose Your Legends 1. When these units got their refines, they incredulated the meta once again. Brave Ike being undestroyable, Lucina being one of our few support units. And ironically, a unit completely unrelated to this banner, Ellawood, became an incredible unit. Because of Roy! Yeah, he kind of just stole Roy's weapon and became a powerful unit. I don't know how it happened either. It just kind of did, and he became an incredible defensive unit in Aether Raids, as well as one of the most powerful Gale Force units at the time. Do I really have to talk about them? Like, seriously, they're broken. Yeah, I guess that's the point of this video, but... Duo Heroes. In October 2019, Duo Heroes brought into the game thanks to a certain unit called Hector, who had a win button. Let me say that again. A win button. Now that you've heard me out, Duo Heroes are bull. I will not be mentioning most of them, because if I did, this video would be even longer than it already is, and for me, heavily editing a video for as long as this video is already a pain. But I'll only mention Duo Heroes that are super duper mega broken, because they're all broken, as they automatically score 185 in Arena, which is higher than our highest base stat total units in the game, plus having incredibly high base stat totals. And, don't know if you were paying attention, but win buttons. Like, literal win buttons. And that wraps up 2019, because everything else notable did not compare to a certain duo unit that no one wanted. We made it to 2020. It has to get better from here. Right! What do you think? We just ended on a massive low note for Powercreep. It's only gonna get worse! This year, I think, is the year that by far had the biggest chunk. You're like... And the thing is, 2021 is worse. I'm making this video and it isn't even June. 2021 is going even faster. '20 added in Harmony Amidst Chaos, which added an incredibly powerful nuke, as well as an easy availability of Times Pulse in the form of Lysithia. It also later added Legendary Edelgard, an incredibly powerful unit with the ability to move twice and an incredibly high base stat total. Why am I talking so fast? It's because I need to get this year done with. And then, of course, there was Legendary Chrom, a unit who usurped an incredibly powerful unit as is, becoming one of the most powerful units in this game by existing. I'm not joking. His mere existence ruined Arena for most people. If Duo Heroes hadn't already done that. Chapter, I don't even care at this point. I'm numbering these differently than I am in the video. This game is just busted. But later on, the anniversary banner came out. Specifically for the 30th anniversary, or 35th, I think it's 35th, of Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light. Sounds good, right? Can't be that bad. So here's a 4-star unit, who's effective against armor, has an incredibly high base stat total, is incredibly fast, which allows him to make use of the relatively new damage reduction skills, which basically prevents him from taking damage despite his low defenses. And that was the second worst unit on this banner. There's also a duo hero who refreshed their ability every other turn, which granted an extra movement space to flyers. Oh, and how can I forget Cedia, who effective against every unit in the game. She hits against armor, cavalry, infantry. She gets a sword, axe, lance, I think dagger. If you breathe, she kills you. If you breathe, you are dead. And if you don't breathe, well, you're dead. You're not breathing. And if you were thinking there's no way this could possibly get worse, you did not know what banner came next. The bridal banner. Aw, it's pretty innocent. It's just characters having a wedding. Dominance. The duo hero Bridal Micaiah, the only unit I'm mentioning on this entire banner, has a duo ability called Dominance, which basically gives everyone Vantage and Desperation for existing. It's another unit that just by existing you win. There's a reason the community called these things win buttons. But by this point we'd pretty much accepted them as being overpowered and stupidly broken as it had been almost a year. But it still felt dumb. Oh, and let's not forget this year's Fallen banner. It brought along Fallen Ike, a unit who had a distant counter weapon with multiple effects, benefited from your unit's despair, and benefited from his own despair. If his stats were lowered in any form by something like a ploy skill, he became stronger. You couldn't even lower his stats. And he was one of the better units. And if he were released today, he'd be a bad unit. This wasn't even a year ago. Like, I have to move quick because so many broken units have come out, I don't want to spend 8 years on this video. Over the summer, a new type of duo hero was announced, titled Harmonized Heroes. Really, they aren't anything special, they're just worse duo heroes. I just thought they were worth mentioning. In August, the Choose Your Legends banner rolls around. Okay, nothing too fishy, it's just choose your legends. Except for the fact, Edelgard doesn't die, Lysithea hits like a truck, Claude brought with him rain skills, which were a much needed type of skill for specific types of units, especially flyers, who did not have much in the C slot, so he was a good improvement. Dimitri, who also didn't die. And again, these units have better counterparts for every single one of them except for Lysithea, who was the worst unit on the banner. And she was still incredible. We have a long way to go before it gets even worse. Okay, so hear me out. How about a unit who gives damage reduction, and it can stack with damage reduction skills and itself? Okay? And let's make them in the normal summoning pool and on a spark banner. That seems a bit. And they're a flying unit. Okay. Sure, why not? And they have a repositioned healing ability. What? Yeah, I know, it's great! The thing is, Flame isn't that broken of a unit. She can be easily killed, but as long as you can keep her out of harm's way, she is an incredible unit. So, is it power creep? Definitely. Is it balanced? Yes! Chapter, the beginning of the end. Yep, we're in 2021 now. We're going to start off pretty slow with Saros, who brought in damage reduction for dragons, which will be important later, and Duo Lith, who brought in Pulse Smoke, a skill that will be incredibly important later. Both are not busted! Yes, they are. They have incredible high stats, but they were balanced. And both better for fodder because seriously, you need these two skills on your core team if you have a dragon or have anyone if you want to stand a chance. We're about to get into that. Legendary Claude was incredible considering at level 40, with no merges and no dragon flowers, just his signature weapon and his B slot could kill fully built units such as Surtr. Sadly, he has not held the test of time. This banner brought Sarah an incredibly busted healer with absurd stats for a healer and really incredible weapons, and she was just a good healer. Now we end off the penultimate section with Childhood Encounter and Will for Rabbits. Okay, that was awesomely timed. So, what's the big deal about these banners? Not much. They're strong duo heroes, strong skills. Challenge Encounter, even the 4-star focus, is incredibly busted in terms of stats. It brought trace skills, which are incredible. Really, just incredible skills with incredible units. There's not much special to say about them. So you might be wondering, why is this year so much worse than the previous year? Now, I question if you had played this game in the last month, and if you have, how did you not know how this gets worse? And if you haven't, good for you! Quit while you're ahead! She goes by one name. Edelgard. Sure, like, okay, what makes Edelgard so broken? She has 9 effects in her weapon and B slot alone. She's an armor beast unit. You can put in her A slot a skill that removes her armor effectiveness, which leaves 3 units in the game who can hit her with effective hits. Every stat she has is stacked except for speed, but she prevents people from countering her. Really. Like, look up her, like, read her abilities. It's broken. She can move again after getting hit. She gets extra stats when she's not near an enemy. She can move 2 spaces despite being in armor. She can heal 7 HP after combat, and that's if you don't include skills like Aether. Remember how I mentioned Pulse Smoke earlier? Oh, you do? Yeah, because this is her only counter. A premium skill on 2 units, who have never rerun respectively. And if you didn't pull for them on the hunch that this unit will exist, you're screwed. I tested every single unit I have. At my +1 merge, with only 2 inherited skills, Aether and Armor Shield, no one could even lay a dent in her. If you could hit her, you died immediately and she healed up. If you tried to survive her, you died immediately and she healed up. There was no workaround. She has 40% damage reduction for existing. There's nothing you can do to get past her. And I think now you know why this over 20-minute long video talking about Powercreep in a gacha game got me to quit. I have nothing that can deal with Edelgard. There's 2 things that can deal with her, and I don't see a point, to be 100% honest. If you're still playing, okay. But I just am not having fun. And that's why this is my last Fire Emblem Heroes video. There's nothing pre-recorded to go out on this game. There's this video, and that's it. I'm kind of getting tired of the other games I'm playing on the channel right now, so I don't know where this channel's going. I hope you'll stick by me, because I intend to still make awesome content. And if you made it this far in the video, 1, thank you. This video took genuinely like 4 hours to make, just on the editing and voiceover, without the research, so thank you. I'll see you guys in a bit.